Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for viewing us and staying with us as we try to give you the real news, because that is actually going away these days. Don't forget to catch us every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Friday Fix, and 1 p.m. Pacific time at our Sunday Town Hall. That's the name. That's what we're calling it.
Sunday Town Hall.
Sunday Town Hall. All Pacific time. So, Wes, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm watching the world crumble behind me.
I mean, hey, they trying to take it all from everybody right about now, just to get that steal from the poor to give to the rich.
Yeah, basically that's what's going on. So the Senate Republicans barely passed the measure to the budget resolution, and here's what to know. Their plans calls for at least $1.5 trillion in spending cuts over a 10-year period, and instruct numbers of committees to find ways to reduce the budget impact, while increasing spending for several other issue areas. The House Ways and Means Committee tasked with implementing the $4.5 trillion in tax cuts over a decade. The resolution would raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. Here are the areas where spending would increase. Now we're gonna tell it to you, then we're gonna break it down for you. So it's going to be up to $110 billion in additional spending for the Judiciary Committee, up to $100 billion for Armed Services Committee, up to $90 billion for the Homeland Security Committee. So it's basically defense, and then at least $880 billion by the Energy. Here are the committees that are tasked with finding cuts. At least $880 billion by the Energy and Commerce Committee, at least $330 billion by the Education and Workforce Committee, at least $230 billion by the Agriculture Committee, $50 million by the Oversight Government Reform Committee, $10 billion by the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, $1 billion by the Financial Services Committee, and $1 billion by the National Resource Committee. The final product must be deficit neutral to comply with the
reconciliation
rules, and Republicans are relying on the economic projections that show the tax cuts would spur economic growth that would increase tax revenues. Those projections have been questioned by outside experts and Democrats who describe them as overly optimistic. One analyst found that the budget proposal would allow for a deficit increase of $2.8 trillion through 2034. So, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, here we go. Check it out. They're going to cut SNAP, food stamps, by $230 billion. They're going to cut Medicaid by $880 billion. And then they're going to give $1.1 trillion tax cuts to the top 1%. The only way you get a tax cut in this bill that they passed is if you make over $400,000. Anyone under that, you won't get it. And just to show that, I'm going to show a video here from a Democrat, the Democrats, about stuff they try to put into the bill that, Republicans basically just told them, no, we're not going to do it. You can't do it. So here we go right now with the video.
I reserve.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the gentlelady is talking about what was said in the Rules Committee last night. I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about how people voted in the Rules Committee last night. We gave Republicans a chance last night in the Rules Committee. We said if they really don't believe that this budget cuts funding for school meals, if they really believe what they're saying, then they can vote to assure the American people that they're not going to steal school meals from kids in order to give tax breaks for millionaires. Every Republican voted no, every single one of them. Then Democrats offered an amendment to protect Medicaid. And Medicaid, as you know, Mr. Speaker, covers 41% of all births in the United States, nearly half of children with special health care needs, and 5 in 8 nursing home residents. We asked them not to cut Medicaid in order to fund tax breaks for billionaires. Every Republican voted no. Then Democrats offered an amendment to extend tax cuts for people making under $400,000 while ensuring that corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. We asked Republicans to continue tax cuts for only those who need them the most, because those are the tax cuts they let expire while their tax cuts for greedy corporations were made permanent. We asked them to prioritize working families over greedy corporations. Every Republican voted no. Then Democrats offered an amendment preventing tax giveaways for people earning over $1 million a year. Every Republican voted no. We wanted to see if there was anyone so rich that Republicans don't think they deserve a tax giveaway. So we asked them to vote against tax breaks for people earning over $100 million per year. We asked them to side with factory workers and firefighters over hedge fund managers and billionaire bankers. Every Republican voted no. We even offered an amendment preventing tax cuts for people with a net worth of over, get this, $1 billion. Every Republican voted no. They betrayed their constituents. They voted to steal from the American people in order to protect tax breaks for billionaires. Again, this is about whose side you're on. And Republicans showed us last night with their votes whose side they're on. And it's not the working people of this country. I reserve my time.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty telling right there when they're going to take $880 billion out of Medicaid, man. I mean, that money goes mostly to people who are Trump voters. Everyone knows that.
They said two out of three old folks in a home. So 2 out of 3 live off Medicaid. So they're dead. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 in 9 children. It said 40% of the children in America are on SNAPs or, Medicare SNAPs and, benefits like that. Think about it, 40%. I think, 40% of children. So they're going to
childbirth said 41% of childbirths are covered by Medicaid.
Yes.
I mean, 41% of childbirths. I mean, that means every kid that's born, 41% of them are being covered by Medicaid. All right, we're going to cut this money from $880 billion. That's a lot of money. You're going to have to find
another
somewhere.
Rich person can have another $5 million for the year, another $10 million. You see what I mean? And this is a lot of people that are already being affected by all this. You see what's happening. You've lost your job. You know what I'm saying? You're about to lose your health care. They're going to take away the food stamps you think you get because they're going to raise the limit up. You know what I'm saying? Or actually, they're going to lower it. You're going to have to basically not get food. Like right now, it's like if you make over $4,000 a month, you're not eligible for food stamps.
Yeah, I mean, people have to realize where that is too. Those are in places where, the living, you have to make probably $6,500 or more, $7,000, $8,000 to even be considered somewhat middle class or somewhat comfortable. I mean, the bigger thing about this is not even the bigger thing, because the biggest is $880 billion Medicaid, also money out of SNAP. I mean, which is going to, hurt. Money out of education everywhere, $340 billion out of education. I mean, we act like we don't see what having a bad education system has done for us thus far. When we didn't even try to improve upon it, we just took away the money. Another thing is that this is going to add. They said even if all these cuts are enacted, which they probably won't be, but a lot of them will be. Even all these cuts are enacted, it'll still add almost $3 trillion to the deficit. It'll still add that much to the deficit just to fund tax breaks for these people right here. Period. Just to help them put more money in their pockets. And then whoever believes in trickle-down economics, we saw how it worked with the financial crisis. We saw how it worked in Reaganomics. We saw how trickle-down economics has worked forever. The greatest time in American history when the most people were in the middle class was basically from I feel like maybe the 40s through probably the 60s or 70s or something like that. When, a middle-class job could get you could have a house,
a car,
your kids at college.
You could go to college,
everything like that. And then at the same exact time, our tax rates were high compared to the rest of the world at that point in time. For people who made X amount of dollars, people who made millions of dollars, they were a little higher. Billions of dollars, they were a little bit higher. But it made sure there was parity within our economic system. We don't get that anymore.
No. I saw the gap go away as soon as the recession hit. You know what I'm saying? Because every year the minimum wage would go up every year while all the rest of the taxes would go up. But during those 4 years of the first recession, or actually it was 2 years. I'll keep it 2 years. Minimum wage, they didn't want to raise it up because they said it would mess with the economy, but all the rest of the things went up. And that's when I saw the gap start to happen. And then, COVID came, they hit us again. And so there's no catching up here, folks. And so, it's okay. You may not be affected by it, but think about it. You got an 8-year-old that goes to school, right? Half the kids ain't going to show up. They ain't got no food to eat. There's no point for them to be there. Your kids, you can't afford to put your kids in private school because if you do, you're going to have to be working your ass off. Your butt off.
Yeah. And they're trying to get rid of, on top of all that, they're getting rid of food programs in school. So that's going to be tough. You know, a lot of these kids are, you know, a lot of these kids are like food deprived. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't have a lot of food at home.
They don't eat food at home. They say some kids, they don't eat from Friday to Monday. They starve all weekend. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people can't, they're not, who cares? The parents shouldn't be having these kids. Well, whatever. These people are here. Yeah. You know what happens to a person that's hungry? They get mad. They get angry. You know what an angry person does? They go out and they commit crimes. That's the crime's going to go up because people are going to get desperate. It has to. How are people going to survive?
Grandma's got to sell her script. You know what I mean? Things like that has to happen at this point in time. She can't survive. You have to look at life that way. You know what I mean? Like a person has to look at how am I going to eat now? You know, I got to decide, because they're letting all kinds of stuff lapse. They're getting rid of the $5 bank fees. They're getting rid of everything. So basically, you're going to be defending yourself on all fronts, paying more on all fronts just to survive. And we all know how bad it is right now. People say at least, oh, food prices are high. You know, a lot of prices of inflation's, you know, kind of got a lot of goods higher than what they normally are. Imagine where it's going next.
I was at my local Kroger, dude. And, you know, I put a picture on my Facebook about, look, this whole section where the eggs used to be, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? They had to put bacon over there to fill the gaps. Then when they finally got eggs, it was just a small little sliver. So, I mean, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And a lot of people, you know, the thing is, we knew who Donald Trump was. We know exactly what he was going to bring. We know exactly what he was going to do. If you're duped by him and you're feeling bad now, like, oh, I shouldn't have voted for him, just forget you. Yes, you're getting what you deserve. But everyone else, I mean, now you really do have to look at the voters of him and be like, yeah, this is what you wanted. The misery of others, because that's what you're gonna see. You're not gonna leave your house and it's not gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking everything's gonna be hunky dory and everybody's gonna be your world is about to drastically change quickly. So
I think people are gonna have to get to a point where they're gonna have to just realize this is what it is and be happy with the decision that they made.
We are in a new world.